The 3 signs God shows you before a major turning point. Before we begin, take a deep breath and understand that this video didn't appear by accident. Nothing does. If you're here right now, it's because the universe and God want to remind you of something powerful. So hit the like button, subscribe, and share this message with someone who might need a sign. Today, you'll discover how God speaks before major transformations in life. Sometimes it looks like everything is falling apart, but in truth, it's falling into divine order. God rarely speaks through words. He speaks through events, emotions, and synchronicities. If you learn how to read these signals, you'll realize He's been talking to you all along. Here are the 3 clearest signs that a major turning point is about to unfold in your life. Once you recognize them, nothing will ever be the same again. The first sign is divine silence. When everything becomes quiet, when your prayers seem unanswered and the world feels still, it's because God is working. Silence is the birthplace of transformation. When nothing seems to happen on the outside, everything is rearranging on the inside. God quiets the noise around you so you can hear His voice within you. He's not absent. He's active, aligning every piece of the puzzle. But most people mistake silence for abandonment when it's actually preparation. If your life feels stuck, if no one understands you and doors seem closed, remember, the stage is being cleared for the next act. The silence is not punishment. It's sacred preparation. The second sign is a sudden shift in energy. You start to feel drained by things that once excited you. You feel the urge to step away from certain people, habits, or environments. That's God separating you from what no longer fits your new chapter. When a big turning point is near, everything misaligned begins to dissolve. Relationships end, opportunities vanish, plans collapse. It feels like loss, but it's divine pruning. God removes what blocks your next level. The more you resist, the heavier it feels. But once you surrender, you'll see it was protection disguised as pain. That restlessness in your soul, it's heaven whispering that it's time to move forward. And then comes the third sign, the most powerful of all, the inner calling. It's that subtle, persistent voice inside that tells you there's something more. Maybe it's a pull to start a new project, move to a new place, change careers, or simply begin again. It's not a thought, it's a knowing. You can try to ignore it, but it will keep returning until you listen. That's how God leads you, not with loud instructions, but with a quiet fire inside your heart. The calling grows stronger the longer you deny it, because your destiny is waiting. Now pause and reflect. Are you experiencing any of these signs? Silence, change, or that deep calling? If so, write in the comments, "I recognize God's signs in my life." That's more than a comment. It's a declaration of faith. It tells the universe, I see the message and I'm ready. Maybe your current phase feels confusing, but confusion is just transformation in progress. The caterpillar thinks the cocoon is the end until it learns it was the beginning of flight. God does the same with you. He wraps you in silence, removes what no longer serves you, and awakens the calling of your soul. That's the divine sequence of every major breakthrough. So when things start to fall apart, don't lose hope. When silence arrives, embrace it. When change comes, trust it. When the calling whispers, answer it. What seems chaotic now is divine order rearranging itself. God never removes anything from your life without the intention of replacing it with something better. The question is, can you trust Him even when you can't see the full plan? The real turning point happens when you understand that the world doesn't need to change. Your consciousness does. The moment you shift your inner perception, reality begins to align with your new vibration. Most people lose their blessing because they panic during the transition. But if you hold your faith steady, even when nothing makes sense, the purpose will reveal itself. God doesn't test your faith when everything is easy. He tests it when everything feels lost. That's when the invisible becomes real. The universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to energy. So instead of asking for a sign, be the sign. Instead of waiting for miracles, vibrate as if the miracle has already happened. That's the secret behind every divine turnaround. Faith in motion before evidence appears. And when your breakthrough arrives, and it will, you'll look back and realize that every delay was protection, every pain was preparation, and every silence was God writing a better story. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel His presence surrounding you, and silently repeat these words. I trust God's timing. I trust divine direction. I recognize His signs, and I walk with faith. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below, I trust God's signs. Because the moment you declare that, the universe starts moving pieces that were once still. Your turning point has already begun. Spiritual life moves in cycles, and every turning point God prepares is a sacred chance to realign your vibration. What most people call bad luck is often just resistance to change. When the universe starts moving things around and you hold on to what's leaving, you create tension, and that tension becomes pain. But when you surrender and say, Thy will be done, a greater force takes over, and what once felt impossible begins to align. True faith isn't believing when things go right. It's trusting even when nothing makes sense. It's smiling through the tears, walking through the fog, and believing that light still exists beyond the storm. God doesn't need you to understand His plan. He just wants your trust. Understanding comes later, when you look back and realize everything had a purpose. Many ask, why does God allow things to fall apart? Because chaos is the birthplace of clarity. The butterfly needs pressure to form its wings. The seed must break the ground to bloom. Likewise, your soul must face discomfort to awaken its hidden strength. The law of attraction works alongside faith. When you raise your vibration, you attract people and opportunities that match your frequency. If you keep complaining, the universe assumes you want more reasons to complain. But when you start to thank, even before seeing results, reality begins to bend in your favor. Gratitude is the language of miracles. It opens doors that logic could never touch. Every thank you is a spiritual password that unlocks hidden blessings. So, when everything feels like it's collapsing, be thankful, not for the problem, but for the lesson it brings. That's how pain transforms from punishment into growth. God never misses His timing. The delay you feel is simply the space between your desire and your preparation. If your blessing hasn't arrived, it means your energy isn't aligned with it yet. So instead of panicking, raise your vibration. Pray, meditate, visualize, act with faith. The secret is to feel as if it's already done. Now imagine the life you want. See yourself there, living it. Feel the air, the sound, the emotion of already having it. That feeling is more powerful than any spoken prayer. The universe doesn't understand words, it understands vibration. When you truly feel it, you're saying, I have received, and God whispers back, then so it shall be. Remember, every turning point starts within. When you change your thoughts, your world reconfigures itself. When you forgive, energy flows again. When you release fear, love enters. When you align with goodness, goodness starts recognizing you. Nothing changes outside until something shifts inside. And maybe the greatest sign that your breakthrough has arrived is peace. Not peace because everything's perfect, but peace because you finally trust the process. Peace is the final stage before the blessing. When you stop fighting and start believing, God moves faster than you ever imagined. So today, declare, I trust the process. I don't need to see to believe. I'm already the change I seek. From that moment on, everything around you begins to respond. The invisible becomes visible. The impossible becomes natural. And the miracle that once felt distant quietly finds its way to you, changing everything forever. Every divine change begins with a shift in energy. You may not see it, but you can feel it. That quiet sense that something is ending and something new is forming. This feeling isn't confusion. It's creation in motion. The universe rearranges itself every time you grow, and sometimes that rearrangement looks like chaos. But chaos is just order being rewritten to match your new vibration. When you start aligning with faith, people will misunderstand you. Some will drift away, not because they dislike you, but because they no longer vibrate on the same frequency. Don't chase them. Bless them and let them go. God is not punishing you when people leave. He's making room for the ones who will walk with you on the next level. Every departure is a silent blessing in disguise. You don't need to fight for what's meant for you. What belongs to your destiny has your name written on it in divine ink. It may take time, it may pass through other hands, but it will return to you when you're ready. The delay doesn't mean denial, it means preparation. God doesn't deliver promises to an unprepared heart. When the old begins to crumble, remember, you prayed for change. You asked for growth. You asked for a new life. Growth requires shedding the old skin, and sometimes that shedding hurts. Don't curse the process that's answering your prayer. Instead, breathe and say, "This too is part of my transformation." Every moment of stillness, every unanswered prayer, every door that closes is sacred choreography. God doesn't waste pain. Even the detours carry purpose. Sometimes He hides you so that no one can destroy what He's building in you. Isolation is not punishment, it's incubation. And while you wait, focus on vibration. Talk to yourself with kindness. Speak abundance, not fear. When you say, "I can't," your cells listen. When you say, "I'm ready," the universe listens. Your words are commands to reality. That's why faith must live not only in your heart, but also in your vocabulary. Speak life, speak victory, speak gratitude. When you choose gratitude, even in darkness, you flip the spiritual switch that invites light. The energy of gratitude is magnetic. It calls blessings from every corner of existence. Say thank you for what's on the way and watch how doors open in impossible places. God's timing is not slow, it's perfect. He's aligning the right people, moments and opportunities with the rhythm of your soul. If you could see how many miracles are already in motion for you, you'd stop worrying right now. The delay isn't because nothing's happening. It's because everything is happening just behind the curtain of visibility. So instead of asking, "When will it come?" ask, "Who do I need to become to receive it?" That question shifts everything. You stop waiting and start preparing. You stop doubting and start embodying faith. That's when the unseen becomes seen. Every great transformation ends the same way, with peace. The moment you surrender, the storm loses its power. When you stop resisting what's leaving and start trusting what's coming, you move from fear to flow. And in that flow, miracles feel natural. Right now, you are not being tested. You're being trained. Trained to trust deeper, love wider, and believe stronger. This is your preparation for the breakthrough you prayed for. So, take a deep breath, lift your head, and whisper to yourself, "I am walking toward my divine turning point. I am not losing anything. I am being positioned for everything." Because the moment you speak those words with conviction, heaven moves.